And we left his home that night thinking, okay, this is great. We've got someone that is going to ensure that Daystar is going to be going down the right path, that we will be able to continue forward. But then the next morning, it's like everything changed.
Okay, so here's where it starts getting really clear. Jonathan was actually the only Lamb child who didn't have his mortgage tied through Daystar. That alone says a lot. Meanwhile, Doug and Joni, they were already in full control, like complete grip, of this billion-dollar tax-free empire that had just been split in two. Then just the next month, August, Jonathan and Suzy had this private meeting with Tom Callender. Now, Tom's technically on the board of Daystar, but let's be honest, the board is basically a formality at this point. It's just three people, Joni, Jonathan, and Tom. That's it. So it's not like there's a real system of checks and balances here. So Jonathan and Suzy go to Tom out of pure desperation. They open up about the meeting they had with Joni and how Suzy got fired. Fired, all because they chose not to read a viewer comment. And you know why? Because from their perspective, they had biblical grounds. They didn't want to participate in or support what they believed was an unsanctified marriage. They weren't being rebellious. They were just trying to stick to their convictions. At first, Tom agreed with them. He even said he'd talk to Joni about it. But then, boom, he switches sides. Just like that. Suddenly, he's backing Joni. And when Jonathan asked why, Tom flat out said Joni had threatened him and that he was scared Doug would come after him. Yeah, that's how deep this goes. That's the kind of fear that was in the room. Now listen to Jonathan and Suzy tell it themselves. How all of that went down and how fast Tom flipped.
And we left his home that night thinking, okay, this is great. We've got someone that is going to ensure that Daystar is going to be going down the right path, that we will be able to continue forward. But then the next morning, it's like everything changed. He told us that he needed to meet with us, and I still remember that breakfast meeting that we had. I couldn't even eat because I was just so sickened. He had completely done a 180-degree flip. And he told us that we had to accept the marriage, and if we can't accept the marriage, we would have to leave.
And this is of Joni and Doug.
Right.
Well, he got a call that night after, so we spent the day with him. And him and his wife are very, very loving. They reaffirmed all our biblical beliefs. Yeah. They said all the red flags they saw. Again, we're not thinking about the succession plan. We're not thinking about the future of Daystar. All we went there was because the board was Joni, Jonathan, and Tom. And Joni obviously had just fired me and threatened Jonathan's job. The only other member was Tom. So we go to meet with Tom because a lot of friends advised us. He's the other board member. He needs to know the truth. So we sit down with him, talk about the Bible. He teaches people at his church the Word of God, and it was a really anointed time. We were like, okay, we're of one mind and one spirit. And so everything was wonderful until he got a call that night. He told us the next morning he got a call from Joni that night, and that he said he completely changed. And now he said, you know what? The Word of God actually is not black and white.
You know, it's no surprise, really. So many people have ended up blaming Doug Weiss for everything that happened with Daystar, like he single-handedly caused the whole fallout and tore that family apart. I get it. His constant manipulation? Yeah, it makes you wonder. Honestly, sometimes I catch myself thinking, maybe he is the problem. But then again, let's be real. It wasn't just him. It feels more like a joint mess between Doug and Joni Lamb. And now, what's going on with him? Why does he look like that? It's not just me. Everyone's been noticing it. There's just something off. Anyway, looks like Joni, Mama Joni, has finally agreed to everything. And Jonathan and Suzy? Yeah, they've made their final decision. After all that back and forth, hoping maybe his mom would come around, they're finally moving on. It's been a battle, but I guess they've accepted how things are. And now, they've finally decided to move on. Permanently. No more waiting around, no more hoping for some miracle change.
But there's a big old narrative out there. Oh, they're multimillionaires. They work for this multi-million-dollar ministry. Has this affected you guys financially? Has it hurt your life financially?
I mean, as vice president of Daystar, I had a really hefty salary.
Just that year of 23, right? Oh, no, of 22. Is that when you got that big bump? Before that, we were always normal.
For 2023.
It was never.
I mean, it was still a nice.
But it was like massive in 2022.
Full-time vice president for a whole year. Yeah.
We were shook. We were
really
like, whoa.
nice.
People want to act like you have.
We're still paying a mortgage.
Yeah, still have the bills that are coming in, from living a lifestyle that was with a larger set of income. I mean, both of us.
I had got a bump too in 22 because he became vice president. Before that, when everything actually came to head, when we got in 22 after he passed, and I got a really nice salary, and Jonathan too, you would think that would be the time to be tempted to stay, if anything. But that was the time we were more ready than ever. I mean, it was the wrestle and breaking of me begging God, when will Jonathan be ready? So I'm ready to sell this house. I'm ready for a new beginning. We have 50 states to choose from.
We lay everything on the altar for the truth. If we had simply gone along with the charade, put aside our convictions, read the card, praised my mom's marriage, and continued to not question anything about Pete, we would have had everything that my father had said I would be the next president.
So, during one of my deep dives, just researching, trying to really understand everything behind the scenes, I came across this particular video. It was on a channel called Truth and Spirit Network. And let me tell you, the review they gave, absolutely stunning.
Doug's been looking really strange lately, almost unrecognizable. It's just odd because this is the same guy who won a bodybuilding contest in Colorado in 2021. Back then, he was in great shape. Energized Health even made a post about him saying, Doug Weiss is almost 60 years young and clearly thrived on our program. He won a bodybuilding contest in Colorado and clocked in at 62% hydration. At that point, he was still married to Lisa Weiss, and let's be honest, he looked amazing. If you look at all the photos and videos from that time, you can see he was in his prime. But ever since he married Joni Lamb, something's been off. Have you noticed it?
Furthermore, I just have to add this. Sometimes it's like the law of karma kicks in so fast you barely have time to process it. In situations like this one, it really feels like that law's at work, but maybe not in the way we usually expect. Maybe it's not loud or obvious. Maybe it's subtle, drawn out, even quiet, but still so real. That's why you need to check out this video too. It ties into everything, almost like a mirror showing the ripple effects of past choices. And when you watch it with all this context, it just hits different. Like this is what happens when truth starts surfacing, when manipulation, power struggles, and hidden motives begin to crack in public view.
That's right.
Unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but Doug, even amongst the staff, was thought as somebody that was a little creepy. Women felt very uncomfortable around Doug when he would come around as a guest because it wasn't, it was not unlike him he would give a woman, up and down view. And, he was a sex doctor. That's how we saw him. He was the former sex addict that had sex shows. And even in the women's conference, most of his segments were sex-based. His language was a little bit too strong, I think, for a Christian environment. Actually, for a secular environment, I would never have had some of the conversations and said some of the things that he says and is well known for in public. Those are very uncomfortable conversations, which I'm sure is why he did it. But there's healthy ways and godly ways that I think you can have those conversations. But yeah, everybody knew his laugh, and quite frankly, Joni, that people made fun of his laugh, and I hate to say that, but and Joni was one of those people, and so now she, and that's why Shannon.
Did she make fun of his laugh?
Yes,
she did.
Yes, I mean, just that,
the
how
laugh,
boisterous.
the prophetic laugh that Shannon Kelly heard in a dream.
Exactly. And so it was well known that, that he was just an odd character, and Joni would have part of those conversations. So I understand that, she looks at him as her husband. I hope that she was honest with him, because we did, it was, being around him was uncomfortable. And I think to this day, I've heard from, other people who've been around him to date, just like months ago. And he still gives that. People who have a discerning spirit, I think, are more likely to feel it and to see it. And there are people that have said that it's uncomfortable. Being around him is a little uncomfortable. I don't know what is going on, but people should be concerned. He looks swollen. His voice is slurred, and it may be a medical something medically that's going on that none of us know about, and that's okay. But yeah, it is disconcerting to see that side of him for sure.
And someone else, and yeah, JT, you're just putting up the would this be the thing you're talking about, this little hand grab right here? Like,
Yes.
okay, you've said enough.
Exactly. And
I'm going to step in.
I mean, there's times, I think it's that specific show. It's a clip from your show a couple of days ago where the look on her face says it all.
Yes.
I mean, I just, she looks disgusted by what he's saying. So, yeah.
She's in quite a position, and she can't even hide it, actually.